I don't even know why I did that. It's Easter. Happy Easter to everyone. To people who don't celebrate it, I mean, have a great Sunday. I mean, Sunday is a great day. It's a weekend. There's no work, there's no school. Hopefully it's a bank holiday where you are tomorrow, even if you don't celebrate Easter, because I love a good bank holiday. How are you guys? I'm back again with another video because I don't have a life, and also it's Easter and it's Easter night, and it's like, I'm looking at the time, it's like 11:20, and I miss you guys. I miss YouTube. I miss YouTube. It's been a week, and that's already too much for me. That's too much. So I just thought I'd do another like weekly update thing. I'm having fun with this. I don't know if you guys are having fun with this, but I'm having fun with it. So that's all that really matters, is my feelings. Because this is my YouTube channel. So haven't wrote notes for this one, which is a bit weird because I wrote notes for the other 3, 5. I don't know how many I've done. I've written notes for the rest, so we're just gonna see how this goes. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think I want to edit it tonight. Maybe not. I don't know. But doubtful. I mean, look at me. If you guys can't tell, I've clearly had a glass of wine, by the way, or maybe 5. It's Easter Sunday, and Easter Sunday for us is bigger, in this house anyway, in the Hannon household, is bigger than Christmas. So I've had a lot of glasses of wine. I'm very, very happy, and that's why I'm even on here, because it's like, I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about Justice League, and I don't feel any shame. I'm sorry, this is ridiculous. I'm trying to get myself together. Get yourself together, Jessica. I hope like any future employers don't see this. But this week, nothing really happened. It was quite a slow week, you know? My life stayed exactly the same. Everything was completely normal. No one followed me on Vero. I'm joking, obviously. If you guys know, if you don't know, Zack Snyder followed me, commented, and then gave me a shout out on Vero, which was absolutely insane. Set off like a chain of events that I was like not expecting in my life whatsoever. Like, it may be one of the most bizarre things that has ever happened to me ever, and I'm not sure how to react to it. First of all, the tweet that or the Vero, I don't even know what you call it, tweet, post, comment, I don't know. The thing that I put out about Vero was literally just me complaining about Vero and how like it's so hard to work, because it is hard to work. Basically like, look Vero, I can't work it. I don't know how. I felt like I was like 60 years old trying to work Vero, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Zack Snyder like gave me a helping hand and was like, you know what, I'm gonna help this absolute weirdo. Give her a boost up in the world. And it was great. But I have to say, even though Zack gave me that shout out, which I really appreciate, still don't really know how to work with Vero. Oh my god. I mean, I got a great crash course from the Nerd Queens. They were amazing. They gave me like this full detailed, like point by point what Vero is all about. So now I kind of know it, but not 100%. Technically not cast as anybody, but you know, maybe he sees something in me. I mean, maybe he sees like a Barbara Gordon quality about me, because I see it in myself. At this point, from what I've been told, I am unfortunately not cast in Justice League 2, which is really sad. I can hear my family talking about me downstairs. She's talking about how I got dressed up for the premiere. That's so sad. Oh my god, I need to stop listening. Other than that, I did ask a few of my beautiful friends on Twitter to submit any questions that they had, because I asked a few people a couple of weeks ago for the would you rather, and them questions were hilarious. So I said to myself, do you know what I would love to do on an Easter Sunday night in 2021? I'd love to answer some questions. Okay, so the first question, which is a great question by the way, is when/how did you get into the nerd culture? 10 out of 10 questions. Great questions. All these questions are great, by the way. Well, when I was about, I want to say 6 or 7, I started watching the animated series. Batman animated series, of course. It's the OG, isn't it? Which spurred me on to get comic books. So I was a big comic reader from when I was young and well into my teens. So I got into kind of nerd culture there. I'm also a huge Star Wars fan. I have been for a very long time. Until I think I was about 10, I started reading Expanded Universe, the EU, Star Wars EU. So I was really big into Star Wars, I mean, since I was so young. And then I started reading the Extended Universe. And honestly, that kind of went hand in hand with my comic book reading days, if that makes any sense. I started to read comics at the same time that I started to read the Extended Universe's books, and they kind of just meshed into each other. And honestly, they're kind of the two things that I still really pick up today. I'm not a huge gamer. I'm into what I'm into, and what I'm not into, I'm not into. So I really don't like Middle Earth, which I know people are like, why are you saying that specifically? But my sisters and my dad are really into Middle Earth, and I'm really not. It's just not my thing. My friends are into gaming, and they're like, oh my god, you should start gaming and stuff. And I like some games, like I like what I like, and I don't like what I don't like, and I just don't experiment. That's how I got into it. I'm a huge Superman fan. A huge Superman fan. I die for Superman. I think I watched the Chris Reeve Superman 2. I'm not even messing, I think I've seen it 110 times. I love that movie, and I always will. And the first DC movie that I ever went to see in cinemas was Superman Returns, which I loved at the time. It was amazing. Obviously now I have different feelings. But when I was a child, I loved it because I loved Superman. I loved anything got to do with Superman. It was the best in the world. Basically, I got into it very young and I stuck with it. So I had to move my setup because my camera was going out of battery, but I've moved and I'm back, and here we are again. So the next question is, who is your favorite DCEU character? I'm taking this in like two different type of spectrums. So my favorite DC character of all time, just DC, is Barbara Gordon. Barbara Gordon Batgirl, Barbara Gordon Oracle, anything Barbara Gordon. Probably goes Barbara Gordon, Superman, Nightwing. Different points in my life I've loved each one the most, but this right now it's Barbara Gordon, and I think it always probably will be from now on Barbara Gordon. That's just a comic book character. Obviously, in terms of DCEU films, Zack Snyder films, or not even just Zack Snyder, I mean we've had others as well. Patty Jenkins, James Wan, I'm not forgetting you, I love you. My favourite DCEU character is Superman. We don't have Barbara Gordon or Nightwing, and Henry Cavill is up there with the greats. He probably will go down as one of the greats, and I think even people who don't love Zack Snyder's movies can acknowledge that he is a great Superman. Love him. I can't wait for more. I know there will be more. Another amazing question. Great question. If we were going to see the death of Robin, who would I cast as Robin? Bit of a complicated question, because I think my heart of hearts, I don't want to see Dick Grayson dead. I think if it was up to me and I was planning out the DCEU, that would be something that I would have changed from Zack's original vision. I wouldn't have had Dick Grayson dead. I would have had Jason dead, because I can't bear to see Jason dead. And also I would love to see a Zack Snyder Nightwing. But I was thinking about this the other day, and they could technically still continue like with the Red Hood kind of vibe, like storyline, just with Dick Grayson, and you know they could continue with that. So Dick Grayson could come back in the DCEU just under a different guise. Like, considering that it's Dick Grayson, I think he needs to be a bit older. I honestly see Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon as older. Now when he died when he was Robin, so he wasn't Netflix. Wasn't Netflix. He wasn't Nightwing yet. Honestly don't know. I mean, I'd love to see Aidan Gallagher, I think that's his name, from the Umbrella Academy. He's fucking phenomenal. But I always saw him way more as a Damian Wayne. In this continuity, in Zack Snyder's continuity, I think it makes way more sense for there to be no Jason Todd, no Tim Drake, and just go straight to Damian Wayne. And that's not the question that you asked. You asked who I cast as Dick Grayson. It's really hard to say, because I think when you love a character so much, or they don't have a casting, really hard to cast them. It's like when people ask me to cast Barbara Gordon, I can't do it. Like, I can't even think who I would put there, because to me, she's such an important character to me, and I see so much of myself in her. and it's just difficult to like give that to somebody else and like hope that they do everything that you want with it, you know what I mean? Same with Dick Grayson, because Dick Grayson is such a complex character. He's a comedic relief. He is a funny character. He uses humor to like guide like a lot of things in his life, but also he goes through a lot of shit, and he needs to be a serious character, and he needs to be able to compete mentally, physically, all them type of things with Bruce Wayne. So he needs to have the chemistry with Ben Affleck. Let's just say this, he would be an older actor. He would be definitely over 20. He wouldn't be Aidan Gallagher. You know, he wouldn't be a small Robin. He'd be a young Robin is what I mean. He'd be an older Robin. He'd be in his 20s. When he died, I think he'd be in his 20s. So no shorts. Next question is my favourite and my least favourite Harry Potter characters, which another great question. Thank you so much for the question. I'm not a huge Potterhead, to be honest with you. Both of my sisters are much more into it than I am. I think my favourite was probably Lupin. My least favourite, I'm not a giant fan of Ginny. I think she was much better in the books than she was in the films. Yeah, maybe Ginny. People loved her, and I was always like, why? Another brilliant question. Thank you so much for asking. Would I rather restore the Snyderverse or make episode 7, 8, and 9 not canon? I mean, you guys just heard me ranting about how much I love the Star Wars EU for like 20 minutes. You know how much I love both properties like so much. Oh, fuck's sake. God, that's so difficult to answer. That is so hard. I think as painful as like distancing myself from the extended universe, from the Star Wars extended universe was, I think now that I'm in the thick of it with the Snyderverse and it's happening right now, like it's probably unfair of me to say that like it meant more to me, that like the Snyderverse means more to me, but it kind of does, because like at the moment this is what's important to me, do you know what I mean? Whereas like back when I was like 15 or 14, I can't even remember, 14 and 13, it was like the most important thing in my life at the time. But I've just kind of given up with Star Wars now. I don't care about 7, 8, 9. Like I just don't even think of them as canon in my own head. Do you know what I mean? Great question, which is kind of relating to like one that I've already done, but they were asking me like when I first got into comics and what was my favourite comic. So or what was my first comic, sorry. So I've already talked about when I got into comics, but my very first comic that I ever read was, I want to say Grant Morrison, Justice League Tower of Babel, which was a great comic to read, first of all. Like it's probably one of my favourites even still to this day. I'd love to see them incorporated into some sort of DC film, even animated. I mean, we've never even really seen it animated, which I just think it's a really great story and it hasn't been utilised enough. It was going to be in the cancelled Justice League. Okay, so the next question I also love. It's really great. So marry, kill, or bone, but with Justice League members. I presume that you want me to go through like every individual one and say what I would do. I mean, I would marry them all. Do you know what we'll do? We'll go 3 and 3. So we'll go the Trinity and we'll go the second Trinity. Marry, kill, and sleep with. I would marry Clark Kent, because what a babe. What a great husband Clark Kent would be. Like, he would just be the bomb. I would sleep with, fuck's sake. Sleep with Batman, because, would I? No, you see, I wouldn't sleep with Batman. I'm connected now to like Ben Affleck's Batman. I'm thinking of just Ben Affleck, but there's other renditions of Batman. Like Batman in the comics, I'm not mad about. Like, I know people love Batman, but I don't really. I much prefer the Bat family. So I think I'm letting like Ben Affleck get in the way of like my view of the character. He made me actually kind of like Batman, which is crazy. I know a lot of people say that like Henry Cavill made people like Superman, but for me it's the opposite way around. Like Ben Affleck made me kind of like Batman. I'm letting Ben Affleck cloud my judgment of the actual character. In reality, I would actually sleep with Wonder Woman. I think she could be cool. In many ways. If you know what I mean. So that would mean that I would have to kill Batman, which I'm shockingly okay with. I mean, I kind of wanted like Superman to kill him in the Justice League, which was so fucked up of me, but it's the truth. The second Trinity, kind of, with Aquaman, Cyborg, and the Flash. Okay, I would marry Aquaman because He's a literal king. He has a way deeper level than anyone thinks he does. He has like a deep layer, and I think once you hit that deep layer, he's like really caring and will like really look after you. I would sleep with Cyborg. I don't want to sleep with the Flash. Thank you so much for that question. That was great. Next question is, what's the first comic book movie I've ever saw? The first comic book movie I ever saw was probably Superman 1 and 2. It's still one of my favorites to this day. I mean, I don't know if that's like, at one point I thought it was like, you only love it because you loved it when you were younger. Like, it's only like that nostalgic feel, like it's really campy and crap, like you won't like it when you're older. But then I watched it about 3 weeks ago again, and it still holds up. Chris Reeve is still fucking amazing. Like, he's brilliant and I love him. The second part of that question was if I read any indie comics, and honestly I really don't. I just being straight up, I don't really read any indie comics. The only comics that I read right now are DC. I used to read Marvel when I was younger. I liked Fantastic Four and I liked the X-Men, but I didn't like anything else from Marvel. And honestly, since I've gotten older, the Fantastic Four has really gone off the deep end for me, and nothing drags me towards Marvel anymore. In terms of indie comics, I really think I probably should start dipping my toes in it, because I've heard some amazing stuff about different ones, and I've just never done it because I don't know, I'm afraid to, like, because I'm a real comic buyer. I buy a lot of my comics. Like, I wish I could like really get into them, but no, I wouldn't even know where to start. Like, and they're asking me for like a recommendation as well. Like, I would love if you guys could maybe recommend some for me down in the comments. But yeah, I really only read DC, to be honest with you, and still to this day I really only read DC. So the next question is, what was the first concert I've ever been to? And what was my least favourite? The first concert I was ever at was actually Justin Timberlake. It was kind of old. I think I was like 14. I was supposed to go to like a few other concerts before, but they all got cancelled, shockingly. So I know like 14 is kind of like an old age to go to your first concert. I mean, maybe for some people it isn't, but for me it was, because both my sisters had gone when they were like 9 to their first concert with my mom and stuff, but I never did. So yeah, it was Justin Timberlake. And my least favourite concert, don't know, I'm trying to think. If there was one like I was like disappointed in, I've been really lucky. I've only ever gone to like really great gigs, which is really lucky for me. I think maybe Jason Derulo. I went to see Jason Derulo and he just wasn't as good as I thought he was gonna be. Like, he was fine. I loved him at the time, so it was fine, but it was like a really young crowd. And actually, do you know what, the crowd at Drake as well was really shit. Dublin is like known for its great crowds. It's like a thing that we like own with like pride, that like the Irish crowds are like really great. But for some reason at Drake and at Jason Derulo, the crowds were shite, like really, really bad. The atmosphere was just crap. So it doesn't really have anything to do with the artists. Like, they were both really good performers and entertainers, but in terms of like crowd and atmosphere, probably them. In terms of what's my favourite comic book movie, I mean, that's really hard to like narrow it down to one. I mean, I think I have a few, like obviously Superman 2, which I just said. Man of Steel, I love Man of Steel. Love Logan. That's probably my favourite Marvel movie. It's not even a Marvel movie, it's a Fox movie, I know, but Marvel Comics movie, Justice League. Zack Snyder's Justice League. It skyrocketed to the top, shockingly. Probably on my Mount Rushmore, they would be my 4, I'd say, probably.